This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock has tips to protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report phishing, and update the software on your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, let LifeLock alert you to suspicious uses of your personal information. LifeLock also fixes identity theft, guaranteed or your money back. Stay smart, safe, and protected with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Well, hey there. It is Stephen Rothberg. I am the founder and chief visionary officer of College Recruiter. We believe that every student and recent grad deserves a great career. If you're wondering more about who we are, what the heck we do, stick around for the end. We've got a short video that'll follow the podcast. Welcome to episode 41. I am joined today by Michael Salamey of ID Plans. He is the chief people officer, right? Not chief human resources officer, chief people officer. Michael, for the viewers who don't know much about you or ID Plans, maybe you can take 30 seconds or so, give them your Twitter bio.
Sure. I've been in HR for about 2 decades. I'm a SHRM-SCP. I have an MBA and a master's in management and leadership, and several certifications. Beside that, I've been doing this a while, and I work currently for ID Plans. I used to be a consultant, and I've held just about every HR role prior to that. At ID Plans, yeah, been a recruiter. And
you have nightmares about all of them, but
sometimes. But no, it's actually mostly been a great journey, and right now I work with ID Plans, and I've been with them as a consultant and as a team member since 2015. And it's a fantastic company. They do very cool things with technology and human boots on the ground, data analytics, and services for commercial real estate owners and managers, including tenant portal experiences. So they basically help commercial real estate providers gain a greater understanding of their properties, build ROI, and provide a better tenant experience for them as well.
Interesting. My father was a real estate developer for years and years, and given his technological prowess, I am positive he was not a client of yours. So, I wanted to talk with you and invited you on the podcast, and thank you so much for joining us, because I saw something that I can't remember if you wrote it or if you were quoted in it, but you said something at one point about being able to scale culture. And it's something that I hear over and over again from employers. Maybe they're going from 250 to 500 employees. Maybe they have 50,000 employees, but half of them turn over every 4, 5, 6 months, like a lot of warehouses, call centers, that kind of high turnover. What did you mean by can you scale culture? What are some of your thoughts around that?
Yeah, sure. So you probably read a quote from the book Scaling Culture that was quoted in, which was great. But basically what I meant was every company wants the culture that the founder had in mind as they grow and scale. But of course, the reality is as you grow and scale, there's no company out there that intentionally wanted to create a dreadful, soul-breaking, soul-crushing corporate culture. No company goes into business to do that.
Right.
But the reason those cultures exist is because they're effective. That's the way that business gets done. It's because of compliance. It's because of all the things that are required to have a company that large. You can't have a personal human connection with 50,000 people, if you're Google or LinkedIn. But there are things that you can do to help scale culture. And I think that it's important to understand where you can make those strides and should make those strides, and where you probably can't and shouldn't. So we can't be everything to everyone, but as a corporate culture, we can decide what we want to be and to whom and who belongs there with us. So I think there are definitely things that we can do to help scale culture.
So in terms of scaling culture, how important, should your peers at other organizations be using technology, some kind of automation for that? Is it much more of a in-person grassroots, some kind of combination, other things? Well, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, one of the great things about working for ID Plans is that at our core, we are both human driven and technology driven. So we believe firmly in innovation, but we also believe in human boots on the ground. We believe that technology is here to serve and multiply the efforts of human effort. So I think that automation is both a good and a bad thing. If we look at things like the ATS and ATS applicant tracking system,
Must we?
right, and AI, like they're
Yeah.
not great. They're getting better.
Yeah.
Every year they get a little bit better. They get a little bit better at their job, but they're not great. And on the applicant side, it's even worse. And there's a lot of problems with automation at scale. One of the biggest problems is the people, meaning the hiring managers, the recruiters, and the HR team, often don't understand what's happening behind the scenes of the ATS. None of us are experts in the ATS itself. The software developers maybe, but they're not the ones that are screening candidates or hiring them. The applicants also don't know how the ATS work. So they don't know what they're supposed to say or what they don't. So you have this, it's almost like trying to navigate a conversation in a crowded room in the dark. You're not sure if you're talking to the right person, facing the right direction, what words were meant for you versus somebody else. The applicant is trying to say the magic words that will get them an interview. The hiring manager is trying to prompt the ATS to screen out anyone who doesn't say the magic words. The ATS doesn't understand the magic words. The ATS sometimes is looking for bachelors. Sometimes it's looking for BA. Sometimes it's looking for, education of X years. It's just a big mystery box and everybody's trying to use it. And it's a shame because it's driving a terrible experience on in every direction right now. It is getting better, but it's not there yet.
Yeah. I heard, I think it was you mentioned, SHRM's being SHRM certified. I think it was at a SHRM conference 4 or 5 years ago. It's definitely pre-COVID. Somebody said that.
Hello, this is Michael Vandervoort from the Drive-Thru HR podcast, where we discuss ideas, trends, and activities that impact HR, talent, HR technology in the workplace. Our focus is on expanding knowledge and igniting curiosity as we hear directly from people who are shaping the future of the HR industry. Join us.
Candidates go encountering an ATS. First of all, most of them don't know what an ATS is. Right. Even if you got rid of the acronym and said, "Oh, applicant tracking system," that's not going to help them at all. It's like trying to describe to me what a carburetor does in a car. I've got like a very, very vague understanding, but it sure doesn't. Yeah, I'm still going to be taking my car to the service station. But one of them said something to the effect of like, typical candidate, it's not even like, who hid my cheese or who moved my cheese, whatever that book was. They don't even know the cheese exists. So, to say to them that, this drop down should be answered this way, that way, they don't understand the impact of their actions. And so how can we expect them to take the right actions? Like in the old style ATS, where did you hear about us? The nasty drop down box, which inevitably was under inclusive. You'd only list some of your sources, and then you'd have sources there that actually aren't sources anymore. And you'd have your ATS as a source where it's not a source, it's a destination. I mean, it was a mess. But candidates don't care if they see your ad on Indeed or LinkedIn or, their friend told them. They just want to give you an answer. But sometimes that affects whether you're going to hire them or not what the source is, but it could be a race question. It could be years of experience. It could be your skill level. What does ID Plans do in terms of, when you're hiring dozens, hundreds of people, how do you use automation or not use automation to help ensure that you're keeping the culture that you want?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could tell you that we've solved it, but it's an ongoing issue for us as it is for everybody. Where we do focus a lot of our effort is in teaching the hiring managers how to interview. And we also teach them that usually the first thing where they go wrong is they don't understand what an interview is, right? So in an interview, most managers are looking to find somebody to say yes to. But in an interview, an effective interview is actually to find the person that you can't say no to. So you should really find the person who hits everything, and you've tried to tear them apart whichever way you can, but you just can't. They're the person that you need. That's how you know you have them. So the ATS is effective as a tool, but it's not the greatest tool. The greatest tool is the hiring manager. But how many hiring managers have not even read or reread the position description or the job posting that the applicant read when they applied for the job before the interview? So, we start there at just teaching the hiring managers how to effectively interview, make sure that they know what they're interviewing for. When we create our questions, whether through the ATS or on our own, we make sure that we understand what the right answer is to the question. So we don't ask a question unless we've also said, what is this testing for? And what does a good answer sound like?
Great point. I've had on this podcast a few different online assessment companies, and they're very big on that. If the question isn't actionable, if the answer isn't actionable, depending upon how the candidate answers it,
Mm-hmm.
If regardless of how they answer it, everybody advances to the next stage, stop asking it. Or if everybody's eliminated, which in a high volume environment, I hope is not the case. Before we close, there was something that we were talking about in the green room, before we actually hit the go live button on this, and that is the difference between hiring for aptitude or attitude. Maybe you can briefly sort of share what your thoughts are on the differences between those, and then what you would recommend.
Sure. So both are important, right? Like we want people who are skilled, aptitude, and we want people who fit with the team, attitude. And I often tell, especially new hiring managers, this is just a heuristic for them, as if they have no hiring experience and they've never interviewed. I say, listen, in the back of your mind, I just want you to concentrate on two questions. One, can I see myself going out for a drink with this person, right?
Okay.
Would I enjoy spending time with them? Do I want to hear more?
Attitude.
That's attitude.
Yeah.
That probably means they're a good fit for the team. The second question I want you to concentrate on is, can I see myself working for this person someday?
Oh,
Now, it's a great heuristic because it probably means, whether you saw it consciously or unconsciously, that there was an aptitude there, right? They've got the skill that said, like, wow, this person knows what they're talking about. I could see them, taking my spot one day, or I could see myself working for them one day. But to answer the question more concretely, if I had to, put my nickel down on aptitude or attitude, I would say focus slightly more on aptitude, but don't lose attitude. The fact is, we all have to at some point work with jerks. We've all had a boss who's a jerk. We've had a peer who's a jerk. So attitude is always going to be there. When you have 50 people applying for a job or in a corporation, you're not going to have everybody perfectly. And in a 30 to 60 minute conversation and interview, it's impossible to tell the sum of a person. Some people can seem great for 30 to 60 minutes at a dinner party, but you don't know if they go home and beat their spouse or treat people poorly at restaurants. Like, you just don't know the sum of a person, and there's no way for you to know that. So focus on what you can, which is the skill. Make sure that they have it. If they have the skill, then start looking for those landmines of how they treat people in the interview, how they're asking questions, are they cutting you off, or what kind of attitude are they bringing to the table, are they engaged? Don't forget, some people are really just nervous in an interview. You're not maybe seeing them, and they're trying to outthink you while you're trying to outthink them. So
Yeah.
It's really difficult, but both are important. It's just hard to vet for them. So if you must focus, I would say 55% aptitude, 45% attitude for me.
Yeah, great point. And to your point about the interview, huge difference if you're hiring for outside sales versus like a mechanical engineer, right? One of those people is probably more naturally going to be extroverted, and one of them is going to be more naturally introverted. Well, Michael, thank you so much. This was great. I've got your LinkedIn URL up there if anybody wants to reach out to you. And I very much appreciate your time. Till the next time. And for the viewers who want, stick around, and we'll have like this short little video on what the heck College Recruiter is. Michael, cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, Stephen.
College Recruiter believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career, and that hiring early career candidates should be simple, take almost no time for your team to manage, and be very cost-effective. We help Fortune 1000 companies, government agencies, and other organizations who hire at scale, meaning dozens or even hundreds a year, and who find it expensive and inefficient to attract, engage, and hire early career candidates. Our two core products tap into our talent pool of more than 20 million students and recent grads of almost 8,000 colleges and universities globally. For more brand awareness, we use our targeted email product, CR Brand Blast. Simply tell us who your message should reach by geography, school, major, years of graduation, languages, gender, and race. You'll get the entire subject line and message body. We'll then deliver your HTML email to the inboxes of tens or even hundreds of thousands of matching candidates who have opted in to receive these messages. Or to drive high-quality applicants at the lowest cost, use our automated job posting product, Jobs at Scale. We'll scrape your career site or import a feed of just the jobs you want us to run. Then we'll use our proprietary programmatic technology to get your postings in front of our highly targeted early career candidates and drive them to your career site to apply. Pricing is either on a traditional, duration basis, so a flat fee for a certain number of months, or on a pay-per-performance model where we bill monthly just for the candidates we delivered to your career site the previous month. At College Recruiter, we drive applications within days of you saying yes, deliver 22% more applicants at a 39% lower cost, deliver candidates who are 15% more racially diverse. Request a demo today at collegerecruiter.com/employers.